Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel live stream. I have no idea really why I'm doing this. Yeah, we have a podcast that my friend John and I are going to start. We should be launching it pretty soon. We got all the equipment right now, and I've been just kind of testing it and having a lot of fun with you know learning how everything works. Um, and I've done a couple live streams now. Did some on YouTube, did some on Instagram, did some on my OnlyFans account. And I'm really just having fun kind of answering questions with you guys. The podcast won't be filmed live whenever we start to do them. So it's nice just to, learn how to use this stuff and get to chat with you guys at the same time. I've been having a lot of fun doing it. So, hey to the 10 people that are on here right now. I started talking just so that way, whenever people watch this that aren't watching live, they kind of have an understanding of what we're doing. So I was taking advantage of the time that we were waiting for people to jump in here. So I was just explaining that, I started doing these live streams on Instagram and YouTube and OnlyFans just to kind of get used to this equipment, get used to talking onto the camera, and using this microphone. I got these headphones now, so I can kind of hear background stuff that's going on, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So I'm gonna try and do this as often as I can. Right now, I've done it 3 days in a row, but yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun. So enjoying talking to you guys. So if you have any questions that you want to throw out there, go ahead and ask away, but try to stay on topic if we can. There's a couple things that I was just going to talk about just so we had something to talk about. My buddy John Schaffner told me, hey, when you do these things, it's really cool that you're answering questions from the fans or the viewers. I hate to just call you guys fans, but um, have some things that you want to talk about. So the topics that I was going to touch on today, um, which now I can't see the title of the video, so I forgot what I typed out already, but I believe it was the lightweight bikes. So 400cc and under bikes, not just like R3s and uh, you know Ninja 400s or whatever, but also mini bikes and supermoto bikes, which obviously I understand are 450cc. So we'll say 450cc and under. Then we're going to talk about how we have Brainerd coming up. We're going to talk about the Cam Peterson injury, who we think might replace him on the Fresh and Lean Yamaha. And I forget what else I put in there, but yeah, we'll get to it. Right now, I'm just having some fun, and yeah, figured we'd have some topics that you guys could chime in and give me your input on. But thank you guys for tuning in. We got 19 people in here so far. I know it's middle of the day on YouTube, so I know most people can't just sit here and watch YouTube, but thank you to those that can and that are in here talking with us. So we got Curtis Toon. What's going on? Got David and Elizabeth, Marcos Garcia, Detlef Schmidt, and sorry if I messed that up, and Tanner. So what's up, guys? I'll answer these, first couple questions really quick, and then we'll get into it. Says you mentioned the last race with Hannah, pain was bothering you, but you still had to alter your riding style, like JP mentioned. Yeah, I was definitely in a lot of pain. It wasn't, it was weird. It was a different kind of pain than it was at the Ridge, because now I had a couple weeks to recover, but also, or actually, I had 1 week and a half to recover. But also it was stiff from not using it. So it was really weird, really awkward. The swelling was down, but the pain was a little bit higher. But yeah, so with my shoulder, I found out that I had a, really bad bruising in my shoulder bone. And then I also had, I forget what it's called, but something had basically moved inside a piece of my shoulder that was kind of stabbing or scraping my rotator cuff. So that's where the pain was coming from when I would do certain movements. It was a lot of pain because it's rubbing on the rotator cuff. So that's what's going on with the shoulder. And I was just having to basically kind of straight arm under braking versus, even right now, I can't lift this elbow like I can like this. So it's very hard to road race like that or motocross, whatever. So I was having to brake with my arms straight, which was really difficult, and really having to use my legs a lot more on the tank. So yeah, we were able to do well, and I'm super happy about it. Happy with how the team worked together that weekend and helped get me through it. And we got some good results. So I think we'll be in a lot better shape for Brainerd. So let's go ahead and get into some of these topics here. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the lightweight bikes. The reason that I want to talk about the lightweight bikes is because I'm going to pull up the article here just so that way I can make sure I'm giving you guys the right information, which, okay, here it is. So, one of the people that's helping John and I, once we get this podcast going, he's been helping us, get the audio right, make sure I had all the right equipment, which we still have a couple things that we need to do, but we're pretty much ready. But it's Maddie. So my buddy Maddie, if you guys have watched YouTube videos before, Maddie's been on the channel before. He's the guy that I mentioned did the audio work with multiple artists. He just got his first Grammy, which is amazing. But he also helped start a 400cc and under track day company. Let's see if we find like an about. Let's see. Their slogan, or their saying, is, "We cater to track riders with machines that are 400cc and below." But why, do you ask? So we're not going to get super into that, but I went to their first track day, and it was pretty awesome, because if any of you have rode lightweight bikes at big tracks on track days, obviously closing speeds are super high compared to 600s and 1000s, 750s, whatever it is. And, it's really scary. And it's not always, you get into these situations where these 1000s or whatever bigger bikes are buzzing you. And it's not because you're a slow rider. Like, I'm a pretty fast rider. I was riding my R3 that's, decked out with track day kind of setup. It's got suspension. I have an exhaust on it. It's tuned. I got the whole 9 yards for a track day setup. I'm not ready to like go race Junior Cup with it, but it's set up pretty well. And you get buzzed by guys that are just track day riders that don't have the skill or the experience to like really, if something were to go wrong with me on the bike, to like dodge it, because you're talking, it could be talking 75-mile-an-hour difference. So it's really dangerous, and a lot of people don't feel comfortable riding their smaller bikes on the tracks, but that's what they want to ride. They don't like riding big bikes. Even for me, like I love riding big bikes at track days, but riding smaller bikes, like, it's a lot of fun. It's cheaper. It lets you, work on your skills more than kind of worrying about the power of a big motorcycle. So I love the idea of riding R3, the ZX4 or Ninja 400, the CBR 400s, all those type of bikes. And this new track day company, Compact Octane, is a perfect spot for those of you that want to do that. It's in California, so for those of you that aren't watching in California, it's a bummer, because this isn't a nationwide thing yet, but I see it for sure being something like that in the future. So their next event is, let's see, at Streets of Willow. So it's at it's at Willow Springs, smaller track. It's still a track that they do California Superbike Squad. They do track days there. So Streets of Willow on August 19th. So just about a month away. And like I said, it's for 400cc bikes and under. And it's a, in my opinion, it's a great thing. So super happy about it. Like I said, like I touched on, this was going to be the main reason why I think that the lightweight bikes are so good, is because you can really just work on your riding, and not work so much on, not have to think so much about just controlling a 200 horsepower motorcycle, which all of us love riding those bikes, but you can learn a lot on these small bikes. And I've been saying that my whole career. I grew up racing mini bikes. My family owns the Herrin compound in Dublin, Georgia, where that's a 450cc and under track. It's just for mini bikes and go-karts, or smaller bikes, I should say. And riding these smaller bikes, the lightweight bikes is what they call them, on big tracks or on smaller tracks, or the 450 supermoto bikes, ovales. I'm a huge fan of ovales. They have the 110s, the 160s, the 190s. It's such a great place and such a great way to ride smaller bikes, to really get into the hobby for cheap and understand how everything works before you decide to get a bigger bike. Or even if you're a guy that races 1000s and you want to figure out a way to improve your riding, going to a smaller bike, you can really focus on just your riding, and not so much just trying to go fast. Like, crap, what do I need to do to go faster? I just need to brake later, twist the throttle sooner. Like, you can really just like dive deep into how to make yourself better rather than just trying how to go fast. So I'm going to go through some of the questions. If you guys touched on this topic, I'll answer some stuff. But like I said, I want to try to stay on topic if we can. Let's see if I can find the first one. Uh, let's see. Used to take my SV 650 back to Streetsville in 2009. Yet I grew up riding, the kart track at Willow Springs, but I rode 125s at Streets of Willow. I rode the R3 there for the first compact octane day and had a ton of fun. It's a good layout, a little narrow, but it's perfect for 400s and the R3 stuff like that. Pushing small bikes to their limits. This is from Tanner. Pushing small bikes to their limits is way more possible than pushing a 1,000cc bike. My buddy's Ninja 400 is fun as hell to ride. It's like pushing a pissed off scooter compared to a ZX10. Yeah, it's like I said, yeah, you can definitely find the limits of those bikes. You know, I've been racing super bikes now for 11 years. When I say super bikes, I just mean thousands, right? And I don't think I've ever found the actual limit of a 1,000cc motorcycle. It's hard for us to find the limit of a super sport bike. I think it's possible, but it's very hard to find the limit of a 1,000cc bike. I guarantee you, nobody at a track day has found the limit. It's a whole nother beast, man. Trying to tame those bikes, and not just tame them, but then ride them to their limit. I told somebody at Laguna Seca, OnlyFans came out and they did a documentary video at Laguna Seca, and it's like trying to ride a bull that can also go 200 miles an hour. Like that's what it feels like sometimes. I may be exaggerating a little bit, but that's the closest thing I can tell somebody to really make them like, wow, like, all right, I can imagine what that would be like. Let's see, we got Wagnerstein. Man, I hope I'm saying that right. Have a CBR 600 track day bike and going to get a smaller CC track bike for smaller tracks like Adams, Apple Valley. So yeah, riding like the 400s and R3s it's still a handful at the go-kart tracks. I see people doing it, but it's a handful, and the bikes still go over, they go over 100 miles an hour. So sometimes it's like sketchy on the brakes. Like if you end up getting any brake fade or like a tank slapper, like the runoff comes up really quick on R3s and even 450s on the go-kart tracks. So you really need to like be paying attention. You still need to like, you need to leave like that 10% extra, like for the big tracks. Like don't push yourself to the limit when you're on those tracks and you don't have a lot of runoff. If you're talking like Ovales and XR100s, TTR 125s, KX65s, like it's great. Push to the limit on the go-kart tracks. They're cheap, like I talked about, and it's great. So yeah, good luck with that. And if you have any questions on what bike would be a good bike to get for the kart tracks, like Adams and Apex, let me know. I'll be moving out to Apex really soon. So right near Apex, I'll be within like a half hour there. So I'll be out there a lot this winter. Let's see. David and Elizabeth, sounds like a fantastic idea. Just like in boxing or UFC, it makes sense in so many ways to put smaller weight and power against each other. I, I'm not huge into boxing or UFC, so it's hard for me to understand what you're trying to say there. Um, Smaller weight and power against each other. Oh yeah, against each other versus, yeah. Okay, I misread that. So you're not going to have Mike Tyson fighting Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, it's it's just going to end badly. And I feel like a lot of these track day companies, like things end badly, and like, or maybe just somebody crashes, and it's because they were trying to get out of the way of somebody with high closing speeds. It's very dangerous. So I think you're almost like at a track day, but it's weird because it's like, okay, if we make a track day like a session just for these smaller bikes because of the closing speed, it's like, okay, but then also this guy on the 1,000 is so slow that his closing speed's even more than the guy on the R3. So like, do we put him in the class of the R3 because he's going slower? So it's really weird. It never ends up working out. But this 400cc and under that needed to happen. And I hate to say it, but it's like almost like you have, I guess at track days, I guess really there should just be like, okay, there's ABC group and then maybe a 400cc and under just for regular track days. That's probably what they're going to end up doing once they see compact octane like start doing well. Let's get to another one before we jump to the next subject. Let's see. I believe the only rider who has reached the limits and understands the level of that bike is Mark Marquez. He doesn't crash a lot because he sucks. It's because he is one of the only riders to push. That's true. I mean, you know, it's so weird. Like in MotoGP, it's like they don't care. Like, hey, push the bike, crash the bike. Like these guys are, I mean, they also race a lot more than we are, but they're crashing the bike so much and they're trying to find the limit. I talked to Bobby about that. Like, I told myself at the Ridge I was gonna push until I found the limit. And, you know, I would like to believe that I'm not saying I found the limit of the bike, but I found the limit of that corner that I crashed in. Because it wasn't like really a mistake. It was just I was pushing really hard. I was 2/10 on that first sector under the lap record of the track, and I was pushing really hard. So, or sorry, not under the lap record, but under where I was at pole, which was only about a maybe 4/10 off of the lap record. So if I was 2/10 under my lap, that was 4/10 off, and I still had 3 more splits to go or 2 more splits to go. I would like to think that I would be able to. Sorry about that. Forgot to silence my phone. I'd like to be able to get under that lap record. So, yeah, Mark Marquez does a crazy job of finding the limits. That's why you see him riding so fast, even whenever he's on a bike that's not competitive or not as competitive, is because he's constantly trying to find those limits. And, obviously ends up getting injured because of that. But it's what you got to do if you want to be the best. So, yeah, mad respect to him for always finding the limit of the bike. I agree completely with your comment. Next subject. I can't remember. I for some reason I can't see the title. If you guys can see the title of what this live chat says, that would be great if you could copy and paste it, because for some reason, okay, here we go. Lightweight bikes, Cam Peterson injury, and Moto America at Brainerd. So, the Cam Peterson injury, it sucks. My video guy at Road Atlanta got the crash of Cam Peterson. I believe I've heard that he's had multiple scaphoid injuries. I'm not sure if that's what's bothering him right now, but there's something in his wrist that's bugging him. And he crashed at Road Atlanta, hit it really hard. He's had a lot more crashes, I think, during the year. And he decided that it's just time to fix it. I heard a rumor that he's signed for next year. And that's not directly from the source, so I don't know if that's true, but I heard that, they committed to him for next year, so he feels okay with getting it fixed. And that was, it was kind of the same situation for me with our team, because I said, hey, if you guys are going to commit to me for next year, then I'll, have surgery and get whatever's fixed in my shoulder, because there's some shaving down that needs to happen and I could pin my ankle. But if not, I'm going to just try to push through the pain. And obviously there's different injuries going on. If he's got a lingering wrist injury that just needs to be fixed, he might have hardware in there that's really messing it up. So, he decided to end up. Sorry, I was reading the comments, got distracted here, but he decided to end up going and getting it fixed. He's going to sit out the rest of the year. So it's a bummer for sure. I wish him a speedy recovery. But it does bring up the question, who's going to be on the bike? Because as far as I know, that team, the Fresh and Lean Yamaha team, would have some type of they have an agreement with Moto America that they're a premier entry, and they have an obligation to put a bike on the grid if they can, and they also make money from having somebody on the grid. They get a little bit of kickback from the series, which is another reason why Moto America is great, because they help the teams out. They don't just worry about themselves. They kick back to the team owners. So it's awesome. But with that obligation, the question that I've been hearing around is who's going to replace him. It's so hard, because you immediately think like, oh, they're going to put somebody from Europe on the bike because they just want somebody competitive on the bike and they want to try something new. But there is nobody that I can think of off the top of my head that would be available. And like I talked to my team owner, Bobby, that's what he said. There's nobody sitting on the couch in Europe that's, no, it's also difficult. Like you see with my team bringing Petrucci and Baz and these guys over, it's hard for them in the superbike class to learn the tires, learn the track. Like it's a big deal. You saw Canepa, I think Nicolo Canepa come over, fill in for Skoltz 2 years ago at Laguna. He was competitive, but he wasn't at the front. So it's difficult. And he's been to Laguna Seca before, and he rides an R1 at home, but it's a higher level here, I think, than a lot of people think. And what we're thinking, Rachel saw something pop up on the Moto America website about it's a new riders meeting that was, they made something, they listed Rocco Landers needed for Super Sport. So I said Super Sport rider, Rocco Landers. He's obviously been doing Twins Cup this year. He hasn't done Super Sport. So it would be a mandatory rider meeting or something for him to be able to race Super Sport at Brainerd. He won both races at Brainerd last year, so we know he's super fast on the 600. So you kind of think like, okay, are they going to put Rocco on the Superbike? I've seen a podcast with Richard where he, talks about not putting Rocco on the Superbike, that he thinks there's a lot of riders that are, a better option than Rocco to put on a Superbike. That's just coming from what he said. So I think, okay, maybe not Rocco. But this makes sense if you see something pop about Rocco going on the Super Sport bike. That may be because Xavi has such a big lead in the championship in Super Sport that Josh Hayes might be coming to fill in that seat for Cam Peterson. I don't know for the rest of the season, but maybe just at Brainerd. And that makes sense why Rocco's now moving up to Super Sport, because he would take the Squid Hunter ride that Hayes had. And you saw Hayes go and ride the Fresh and Lean Yamaha at Road America. But then because they had some engine problems, they ended up taking Hayes off the bike so that they had extra, spares to make that weekend possible. So I think Rachel hit the nail on the head with that. And I call that Hayes will be on the Superbike. Rocco will be on the Squid Hunter Super Sport bike. And I just think that, the thinking here is, hey, let's try to beat Xavi. What do we need to do to beat Xavi? We don't want Ducati winning every single race this year. And Yamaha might think, Rocco won both races last year. Hayes was on the 600 last year. I think I beat him. I want to say I beat him in both races. So and Rocco beat me. So maybe they're thinking like, hey, let's put Rocco on the bike. We'll win there. We just need somebody to fill in for Cam Peterson. Hayes knows the bike. People would love to see Hayes on the Superbike. And, that's our bet, especially now that I think about the fact that they really probably don't want to see Xavi winning every race this year. So it's going to be a hard one. If they put Rocco on that bike and it's as competitive as the bike that he was on last year, Xavi's going to be, it's going to be tough. Because for me, I struggled on that bike last year at Brainerd. I'm not really sure why, but I did. Hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he's able to win again. I love seeing him win. I'd love to see Ben Boschem was the last guy, if I remember correctly, that had a chance at winning every Super Sport race. I may be wrong. Maybe JD Beach did it or Gerloff. But it'd be cool to try to see him do that. But that's what we're going to say. I'm going to call Rocco Landers on the Squid Hunter R6, Josh Hayes on the Fresh and Lean Yamaha. And we'll see what happens. Let's see what you guys think. We got a couple people commenting here. The Wagner Stein Industries. Once again, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He calls Josh Hayes. Dan Wood said Josh Hayes would be a good replacement. He's a good rider, definitely has the skills. Yep, for sure, knows the bike. And the last podcast that I listened to that Richard Stamboli did, he was saying that, he thinks that Hayes was able to bring some valuable information over to the team. So, maybe they want to see it as kind of like a test. Maybe there's something that he can help with. Obviously, Gagne's done super good on that bike the last 2 years, but Cam Bobier's won a ton of races this year. I've won one race. I'm starting to get more competitive now as the season goes on. And maybe there's something to be learned from Hayes getting on the bike and comparing, to the BMW and the Ducati. Who knows? But who knows what the thought process is? But I think the main thought process is getting Rocco on that R6 to kind of dethrone Xavi from winning every race this year. That's just what I'm calling. Bring back Jiggy Dog. Yeah. If you remember, I actually, when I got COVID and I sat out, if you've been watching for a while, in 2021, I sat out Brainerd because I had a really bad case of COVID, super bad. And JD Beach actually replaced me. I can't remember exactly how I did. I totally forgot about it until I saw a photo or it was a video that Moto America posted the other day. I want to say he was like 5th, 4th. I don't remember exactly, but they did put him on the bike that year. And I've heard that JD's been doing a bunch of track days lately. I don't know if I've heard that the what do you call it? Estenson team is maybe going to come and race Super Sport next year with him and Dallas Daniels. It'd be cool. The more teams that we can get in, the better. Pretty solid predictions. I just don't, there's not a ton of options, and the Rocco thing makes sense. And then moving Hayes to the bike, it just makes sense. I would love to see somebody new get on the bike. And I know a lot of people say that about me. Like I've gotten a bunch of different rides, and people are always like, God, put somebody else on the bike, put somebody new on the bike. But you got to just think from the team. It's like they want to do well. They don't right now with the way that the sport is in America. It's like they don't have time to like grow riders into these positions. Team Hammer is really the only team that you see doing that. Other ones are just getting guys that they know they can go fight at the front. So it's risky, and maybe they just don't want to do that. Because obviously Rocco's a great rider, but you don't know how he's going to do on the super bike. There's a lot to learn. You don't know if he's going to crash the bike and cost you a lot of money. So you just want to put somebody that can ride the bike fast, and there's a chance they could be up there, especially if it rains. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that they think about. It's not just, oh, what do the fans want to see? Who's going to be somebody that will be good in a couple of years? Let's groom them. Also, you don't want to put somebody on the bike if Cam Peterson has a ride for next year. You don't want to put somebody on the bike that's going to just go out and dominate, because then it's going to be like a downer for him. He's going to lose confidence going into the next year, thinking, man, maybe they're going to cancel my contract. Maybe they're going to put them on the bike. Like, crap, I shouldn't have done surgery. They don't want him feeling like that. They want him feeling like they got his back. And, I think that's what we're going to do. So, okay, so next subject, let's see. It was just Brainerd. So, yeah, I'm excited about this weekend. We've obviously, for me, it's been a great year. We got the win at Daytona. We got the third place at Road Atlanta Race 1. I should have won Race 2, but we had that. I would have been on the podium, but we should have won that race. I think I had a very high chance of winning that race. Road Atlanta Race 2, we had the incident happen on the back straightaway. Barber was a struggle. I don't know why we weren't able to get the tires working. That was not something with the bike. It was tires, bike. I have no problem saying if something was me that weekend, it was not me. I feel like I was riding really good. We couldn't get the bike working with the tires there. It is what it is. Then we went to Wisconsin. We got 2 podiums there. Got the win in race 2. Went to the Ridge. Got 2 podiums there. Got injured, so that sucked. Then we went to Laguna. Had the three race weekend. Got 3 podiums. The Sunday race 2 and race 3. I was able to claw back and really catch up to the guys at the front, Cam Peterson and Cam Beaubier and Gagne. Race 3, I was able to lead every single lap of the race except the last one, the one that counts, right? And but we were there. We finished 0.6 off the podium, off the win, and got second. So I'm going into this weekend with a ton of confidence, or next weekend, sorry. So the race is next weekend, July 28th through the 30th. I'm going in with a ton of confidence. I'm feeling, really good feeling really good on the bike. Getting more and more used to it. Getting more and more used to working with Simone, my crew chief. So I'm really excited. The Ducatis have done well at that track in the past, and it's now it's basically on me. I need to go there and put in the hard work and just do my best. That's all I can do. The foot's going to be a lot better by then. Shoulder's going to be a lot better by then. So won't have as big of an excuse as I did at Laguna. Not that I used it as an excuse, but it did suck. So I think it'll be a lot better. I've been working with a guy here at home that works with Canelo Alvarez, the boxer. And we've really been getting me on a new program for nutrition and just trying to heal my body, get inflammation out of my body. And it's been a really great journey, and I'm really happy that I met this guy and that we started working together. He started working with me at Laguna right before Laguna, but he came to Laguna and has really made me feel really strong. Race 3 at Laguna, which is the third race on Sunday. I feel like I could have done 2 more races, so I'm really happy with how we're doing. It's going to be a dogfight, though. I mean, Cam Beaubier hasn't raced at Brainerd before, but they did a 2-day test there. I think it was just a track day, but he rode the bike there. Obviously, Gagne's been there before. He knows what he's doing. And then you got Skoltz, it seems like he's still qualifying fast, but the race pace I think has stepped up a little bit, and they've been struggling a little bit with setup. So, but he'll be there. Richie Escalante has been riding super well lately. He's made a huge step, and I'm worried about him as the season goes on, that he's just going to get stronger and stronger. And I know he's got a good team around him. And You got Posh who's on Elias's bike now on the M4 team. So there's a lot of strong guys racing, and it's a stacked superbike grid. I mean, this is so weird. I feel like I'm wanting to do this podcast and like kind of like be positive towards myself, but I want it to be about kind of everybody and not, I was talking to somebody, like, not piss off people, and just make it a fair podcast about all of it, and use my kind of knowledge of being inside the paddock to talk about it. So it's strange. Not that I don't want to sit here and talk shit about anybody, but it's just strange kind of being in this position where I'm trying to talk about the series and the race coming up and how certain riders are doing, but without being too confident about how I think I'll do. But it's a stacked superbike grid this year, and it has been so fun. Like, I don't always go back and watch the races, but this year it's like it's almost impossible not to go back and watch them, because racing's been so good that it's so fun to go back and watch it. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great weekend. The crowd at Brainerd, if you haven't been there, it's really fun. There's a lot of like old school diehard fans that used to go there back in the day. I have a new helmet. For those of you who don't know, we do a new, not just like a new like off the rack helmet or a wrap. Like, we have new painted helmets at every single race this year, which has costed a ton of money. But it's been awesome. I'm so happy that we've been able to do that. And the helmets have been cool. We did for Daytona, we had a really cool purple helmet. I'm for some reason I'm into purple right now. Shout out Superlex. I think it looks good on bikes. You see the Ducatis and GP with it, and it's cool. I know Ridiculous did it back in the day, and I think purple's kind of cool on bikes for some reason. So we did the purple helmet there. We had like a Daytona airbrush T-shirt look on the back of the helmet, which was cool. Road Atlanta, we had a camo helmet, which was really neat. For Alabama, we did the Alabama football helmet. For Wisconsin, we did the cheese helmet, which was cool. For the Ridge, we did basically, I couldn't think of anything good for the Ridge, so we just did what I wanted to do from the start of the year, which was a OnlyFans only helmet, right? So like you would imagine a black monster helmet, but this is OnlyFans, so it was a kind of baby blue helmet. It just looked like that was what the helmet was, so that was cool. But I destroyed it in the crash. And then at Laguna, I basically just gave my painter off axis. I gave him just pictures of like my favorite Nikki Hayden helmets, and told him, let's like use this red, white, and blue helmet as inspiration, but make it Murica as fuck. That was like that was the exact words I said to him, and he was like sick. So he put the eagle on the back, and we had a lot of fun with it. So for Brainerd, we're going to do a Faraci helmet. So it's going to be based on Geraldo Faraci, who, for those of you who don't know, is a absolute legend in the sport. There's more people coming up asking for his autographs than there are anybody in the paddock. And listening to this guy's stories, he's definitely going to be on whenever we launch this podcast. I don't consider this even a podcast. I'm just doing like a live thing on YouTube. But I'm just trying to get used to it, have some fun. But whenever we do launch the podcast, he'll for sure be on. I'm going to bring this stuff to the races and have some fun with it. But we're doing like a really cool throwback Faraci helmet for Brainerd, and it'll have a really cool photo of him on there, and it's going to be special. It'll be cool. It'll be kind of a tribute to him, but also like one of the riders that he had racing for him in the past. So I'm really excited about that. I know I keep saying excited, and it's going to be good. I keep saying this, but I'm feeling really positive right now. I'm in a good space, and just looking forward to going back to the racetrack and seeing the fans there, seeing the crowd, hanging out with my team, because this has really been such a special year for me, a special 2 years for me. I've really found a really good family with the whole Warhorse HSBK racing team. Things happen for a reason. I'll tell you that. I'm a strong believer in that, and getting to form this relationship with Bobby from HSBK Racing and the entire De Naples family, but especially little Louis De Naples from Warhorse and Ducati New York, has been so special to me. And I just hope that we can continue working together. I want to keep racing for these guys. I want to keep doing this and having fun and coming to the races and being happy. It's so hard going to the races and not being happy, because you want to do good, and when you're not doing good and you're not surrounded around people who just want to lift you up, it's a bummer. And I hate to make you guys think that I'm never not grateful for the opportunities that I have. I get paid to race motorcycles. I get to call it a job for the last 18 years. My son and my wife get to go to the race with me. My father gets to come and watch me at the races, and I'm around, um, some awesome people. And I love spending time with the fans, and I love it. But it's hard when you're not doing good. There's a lot of pressure from sponsors and teams, and yeah, it's difficult sometimes, and you get into a pretty shitty headspace, and then with social media, with the comments and stuff that you read, sometimes it's really hard. And people don't think about it before they type stuff, and I've learned to deal with it a little bit better now. But there's also not as much shit talking because we're doing good. So, and we're not on a bike that has more CCs than everybody we're racing against, so they can't talk as much shit, even though the bike was was the same speed as all those bikes. It's I'm really having a great time this year, and I'm so grateful to be where I'm at, and I'm so grateful to be just doing everything that we're doing, and yeah, happy to be at the races and smiling with all the fans and having a good time. So thank you to everybody that makes that possible and makes it so special for me. This podcast thing, which I said I don't consider this the podcast yet, but this whole podcast thing is going to be so much fun, and I'm looking forward to it. My buddy John is my buddy that I'm doing it with, and we've been thinking about it, kicking this idea around for a couple of years now, and I kept seeing podcasts pop up, and I'm like, man, we can't do it. I don't want to do the podcast because Corey Alexander has one now. Greg White's got his podcast. Moto America has this podcast. And, then I thought about it. And I'm like, how stupid. I just woke up one day. I was, how stupid. Like, everybody has a YouTube channel. Everybody has an Instagram. And we all compete against each other. It's fun. And it's not like we're like, but we are competing against each other. Like, why would I not do a podcast because 3 or 4 other people have a podcast? I think we talk about really cool shit, and I don't want it to be so much interview style. We will have guests on that we interview, but it's going to be more just like a conversation. Like I can't stand when it's like an interview. Like, how did you do this? Why did you do that? What do you think about this? Like, I just want it to be a conversation. Like my buddy John brought up, like the Joe Rogan thing. It's a conversation, and yeah, we ask questions, but we're just gonna sit around, drink some beer, have some fun, and just talk about stuff that we enjoy doing. And if you guys like watching it, great. If you don't have to watch it. It's gonna be cool. I'm going to answer a couple questions here. If you guys want to shoot away, whatever, if you want to be on subject about what we were talking about or just some random stuff, we'll answer a couple and then hop off here. Remembering Scott Briody at Brainerd last year. Yeah, that was, man, I can't believe that was last year, right? Yeah, that was last year. Man, I can't believe that. I didn't know Scott. I'd met him, at the races, but didn't know him well. But I have some friends that were really close with him, and the guy just seemed like he wanted to help everybody. So, yeah, that's it was definitely sad. That was a scary moment. It's a dangerous spot on the track. You never want to see that, and especially me being a dad, it's yeah, that's the last thing I ever want to think about. But yeah, for sure. We'll all be thinking about him whenever we go to Brainerd this year. That's for sure. As a fan, as from Andrew Gardner, as a fan, I've seen you better when you're having fun. It's clearly visible when you started having fun again. Yeah, it's like I've said before, that's all that it's about. It's taken me 18 years to figure that out. 2018 was a perfect example. I had so much fun that year. And it's true, whenever you're at work, I consider this work. And when I'm at work, if I'm having fun and I'm able to go and do some wheelies whenever I'm street riding with my buddies and backing it in and doing some burnouts, and Ducati's happy now. We're doing these like Monday Revs days. If you guys haven't heard of those, like look up the Ducati Revs days. There's one still at Pittsburgh on August 21st. I'll be there. And then on September 11th, we have the Coda DRE day. And everyone that we've done, hopefully they let me keep doing it, but everyone that we've done, they open the track up for about an hour at lunch for me, or a half hour, and they let me just go be a goon. And I love that, because they're like, look, we can't advertise you doing the stuff that you do on the street, but if you do it on the track that's closed down, you don't have to pay for it. You're already here. we'll give you a bike to ride, and they just let me do burnouts and wheelies and turn around on the track and just do whatever I want. So that's been super fun. But yeah, it's important that you're having fun. That's for sure. Big fan from the UK. Any desire to do World Superbike? Yeah, I would love to do World Superbike, but I'd want to do it with my team. I feel like that would be really important that we did it with our team, with the help, of course, from Ducati Corsa, and helping us out while we're there. That's for sure a goal. But I would also love to go and do a BSB race. I mean, I don't know how good I would do. I love sliding bikes around, and I'd like to think I'd do good, but I know it would be really hard. So, but I would love to go and race something over in England. I love it there. I love the whole, like, I don't know. Everybody at the track in England, they just have a fun time. They're there watching racing, drinking. It's a good time. Let's see. I'll answer a couple more. Some podcast apps can even allow listeners to send you money while listening. Wow, that's cool. All the like donation type things that we do, if it's associated with me, I have to do it on OnlyFans or OFTV. That's kind of supposed to be like my platform to really connect with the fans and be able to like send you messages back and forth. So that's what I use that for. I use it to really like feel connected with my fans or followers, or if people have riding questions, I really try to like answer those on there and help out as much as I can. Let's see. Have you ever looped out a mini bike? I don't know if that's a joke. You must have been or you were at the compound when I looped that might have been your bike I looped out, but I did loop somebody's Thumbstar 190 out at the Herrin compound. I felt so bad, but yeah, if that was you, I can't remember, but it was thanks for not being angry that day. Does Moto America limit testing on teams? They do. We're not allowed to test within 30 days of an event at that track. But we can go test. I believe we can test as much as we want. We just can't ride at that track within 30 days on our race bike. So yeah, they're pretty good about that. Any tips for Brainerd? Yeah, have huge balls. Or you gotta have guts there. I don't know if it's proper to say huge balls anymore, but you gotta have guts to go faster. You gotta kind of have like something loose in your head, and yeah, you gotta not be scared. That's for sure. Let's see. Podcasting Team 2.0 had it built in with Bitcoin, which but I got you about the sponsor though. Okay, yeah. Hey JH2, I hope you're feeling well. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it, man. Hope you're doing well. Somebody asked something about Chris asked about a Herrin replica helmet. Right now, the only way that you can get that is if you were to reach out to my painter, Greg at Off Access, and get a helmet painted from him. Unfortunately, we haven't come to an agreement yet with a ride to do it, but hopefully we got something coming soon. Slight Apex said, hell yeah, Josh Herrin podcast. It's coming. It's going to be called Exceeding Track Limits. So keep an eye out for it. And we'll have also another podcast that we'll be launching after that. Too Illegal is going to be, if you guys don't know what Too Illegal is, they're going to be the sponsor of our podcast. So if you have been injured in a motorcycle accident, car accident, and you're in California, or you know somebody that has been injured, make sure you guys hit up Too Illegal. My friend's name there is Aura. He's been kind enough to he's basically going to sponsor all the equipment. So all the mics, the booms, this is what we use right here for collecting the sound or the audio, the headphones, all that stuff. He's been kind enough to chip in for that. And I'm really excited about that. So yeah, all right, Too Illegal, huge shout out. Kyle, what's up? Kyle with a C right here. Kyle Winkler, if you guys are in, oh my gosh, where do you live, Kyle? Oh man, what state is it, Kyle? Missouri. There you go. I don't know why I always forget that. If you guys are near Missouri and you need your bikes worked on, make sure you hit up Kyle. Dude's an awesome guy. And yeah, what movie are we gonna go see when we get to Brainerd? I want to go see Oppenheimer, man. It's out. We got to go there. Let's go. Southwest Missouri, Ozark area. He's got a YouTube channel, so search. Kyle, you want to shout out there's not a whole lot of people on here, but I'm also going to leave it on here so people can watch later. The last one got about 1,000 views, so it's not too bad. But if you want to shout out what the shop name is, or if you want people to just hit you up on Instagram or whatever, leave a comment. But it's Kyle Winkler right there. Limitless Power Sports Service and Repair in Southwest Missouri, Ozark. if you've seen this show Ozark. That's where Kyle's at. So Kyle does a lot of stuff on our team, but he does the right now he's doing my Superbike wheels. So he's in charge of making sure that all the correct tires are mounted and that the team has the tires, doing the constantly checking the air pressures, the temperatures, making sure they're in the box ready to go. That's his job on our team. And I've known Kyle for a long time. So yeah, like I said, Southwest Missouri, Ozark, Missouri, Limitless Power Sports Service and Repair. Check him out. Thoughts on airbag technology and what you use versus other solutions. I'm in the Alpine Stars Tech Airbag. I'm using their most up-to-date Tech Air system. I also have the Tech Air 5. Let me double check. Let me make sure I said that right. Alpine Stars Tech Air 5 vest. This is what I use on the street. No, why did I say that? I don't know why I said that. Tech Air street jacket. Oh man, I'm terrible. Let's see. Here it is right here. Tech Air Street. Oh yeah, Tech Air 3, sorry. So the Alpine Stars Tech Air 3 system, I'll put a link to it right here. I'm not going to put a link through this website. Let's see. Tech Air 3 jacket. There we go. I put a link straight to the Alpine Star. I Googled it and it's a competitor's website of one of our sponsors that popped up. So I'm not going to put that, but so I don't know if the link works. Okay. I just put a link to the jacket that I use. So it's the Alpine Stars Tech Air 3 system. That's what I use for the street. You can also, I'm pretty sure you could also use that on the track. I had my dad wear, I didn't, that's what I had available whenever my dad went and rode. He came with us to the, Ducati day at Laguna the other day, and I had my Tech Air 3. I had him wear that there. So, but that's what I wear on the street. And yeah, that's what I prefer to use. It's the only one that I've used. It always does me really well. So that's what I advise people to get. And you get 2 deployments out of that. So it's awesome. So you can fall once, reuse it again at your next track day, and then send it right into Alpine Stars to get serviced. Any shops or mechanics you would recommend for performance mods, header, installer, service disconnect in SoCal? Send me a message. Please send me a DM on Instagram if you can. I might have something for you. Yeah, send me a message. It's soon, something soon. Let's see. Seems like Moto America has been growing big time in recent years. Where do you see it in 5 to 10 years versus Europe? I think it's going to get even bigger. I think Moto America is doing a great job. Richard Varner, Wayne Rainey, I think Chuck Asklin, these guys are doing a really good job at getting us more mainstream. I love the Pressure to Rise show. I think it'll be good. Kyle, get out of here, man. Don't be recommending. Get out of here. You can recommend your Limitless Power Sports, but get out of here with that. You can't be promoting shops out here. It's but yeah, they're doing a great job, and I see it. I think it's going to get better and better. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to answer one more. Let's see. If OnlyFans is your direct, is OnlyFans your direct sponsor, or have they partnered with Warhorse? Just curious. I've had many conversations with racers and the cost. So OnlyFans is a direct sponsor of mine. I was, I believe, their first athlete that they had, one of their very first athletes. You had Logan Carnell in Supercross, who was having OnlyFans creators sponsor him by putting their name on there, just like you would like Instagram, right? It'd say at Josh Herrin on the side of his bike. But OnlyFans directly is sponsoring me. We promote OF.TV, which is their it's their job safe website where you can go on there and you can find anything from, if I go to sports, there's UFC stuff, there's boxing, there's car racing, there's comedy, there's cooking shows, there's fitness stuff, there's painting, there's gardening, all kinds of stuff. So basically, for those of you that have been wondering, why haven't you been posting on YouTube? I still do, but the main stuff that I post on now is OF.TV. It's playing in the background. I'm going to put a link right here. So this is where you can look at all of the behind the scenes from the races last year and this year. It's on the OFTV right there. All you'd have to do is search my name on there. There's nothing that you can't see if you're at work on there. No nudity or anything like that. So OF.TV. That's where you find all the behind the scenes race footage from this year and last year. But yes, they are a direct sponsor of mine. They have been definitely one of the best sponsors that I've ever had. I love working with them. They are a lot of fun. They get a lot of attention on stuff. We did a video on YouTube with Haggerty. So if you search Haggerty, Josh Herrin, you can see, so there's a drag race video from Haggerty with 2.2 million views. There's another one that has 8.8 million views. Those are just two videos that we've done with Haggerty where we drag race some cars. We drag race the Tesla Plaid, the Lucid Sapphire, the Bugatti, Corvette C8. Did I say that right? No, why did I say C8? Z06, Corvette Z06, the R8. I don't know why I said that. The Porsche 992 GT3, all on the Ducati V4 SP. And so there's over 10 million views on those videos, and the OnlyFans logo is super prominent on my visor, and it's cool. Like, you look through the comments, and that's what people notice, and it just, it helps get that attention to motorcycles, because the bike's awesome. But if you can get that, something like that popping up that people are then going to like gravitate towards and want to talk about, it just helps the whole sport of motorcycling, because people are then going to click on stuff. They're going to search stuff. And I think it helps a lot. So access second half of year rivals, year progress tracks. I'm confused by that. Sorry. What do you think about the knee? Oh, I'm not going to answer that question. I wear Alpine-Star suits, gloves, boots, Under Armour, and airbag. I wear the Arai Corsair X helmet. So I don't know anything about their new the helmet stuff. I love my Arai, and I love my Alpine-Stars, leathers, boots, gloves, and airbag. Seems like Moto America. Okay. Tell Farachi said hello. I for sure will. Alan Schuster. Superstitions. I always put my right boot on first. Not really sure why. If anybody ever brings up the C word, I get angry, and I don't like it. I don't like putting on a new rear tire without a new front tire. I hate that. I've gotten better about it. I do it now. But yeah, I'd say those are my only superstitions. I'm going to hop off. Rachel and the baby are home, so go eat some food with them. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. I'm going to leave this on here. It's going to live on YouTube. So if you want to share it or go back and watch it, feel free. I don't think I said anything bad about anybody. It's going to be hard. I've watched some other podcasts though, and that's one of our things that we're not going to do is say anything negative about people, because I hate when people say negative things about me. There's a podcast out there, if you guys know it, they talk a lot of shit on people, and it's just not cool. Don't know why people do it. Talk shit about people behind their back when they can't look it up or hear it. If you want to talk shit on them with your wife, whatever you're going to do. But yeah, hopefully you guys, tune in whenever I do the podcast. Look for it. Watch all my social media channels. It's going to be called Exceeding Track Limits. I'd love to see you on there. Other than that, though, thank you guys for tuning in. And yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. I'll be doing these live videos a lot just to kind of promote the podcast that we're going to have coming up. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you later.